Hello, happy Friday everyone. Happy May. I can't believe it's May. Thank you for joining us again at Humane at Home. I'm Stacy. I am wearing my mask. We are practicing social distancing, making sure we're staying safe at San Diego Humane Society, and hoping you are doing the same at home. So today we're going to get to be painting with Lovejoy again. She's going to be guiding us and having us paint some kittens, since we met so many cute kittens the other day. I hope a lot of you were at the kitten nursery tour and are ready to now paint one of those cuties. So I want to remind you first that we have our art contest going on. Here you go, Miss Lauren. So we have one more week for you to submit an entry. So May 8th is the deadline. You can do any medium. We're doing all ages, even 18 plus. If you do not have a pet of your own, this is one of our adoptable dogs, Rufus. So you could paint one of our own pets here, one of our adoptables, and maybe even get them some extra attention, which would be awesome. Rufus is looking for a home, anyone, if you think that's pretty cute. We are getting all ages, all mediums. I love it. Here's a dog playing some fetch, a cute little cat and mouse. So anything, any way that you want to be creative and show your talents, please do. We love our cats. I know we've gotten some wildlife entries. I hope we're going to get some farm animals like our moose. Look at this gorgeous doggy here. So all entries by May 8th, and then we will be voting by age category. I love this little black kitten. That's super cute. We met some of those on Monday. Look at this colorful creation. This is so cool. So again, you can use any medium that speaks to you, that you are creative. Show us your creativity. We'd love it. So one more week to get your entries in. It's Humane at Home theme, which just means your pets in their home or wildlife in their natural habitat, whatever makes you think of Humane at Home and what that means to you. I'm going to show you over here, Miss Lauren. Yeah, you can go behind me. That'll work. So this kit right here is what you win if you win your age group. So you'll get your own painting kit. This one is the kit to paint the kitten. So, but you can choose from over
50 projects.
Over 50 projects. So you can choose which project you want for your painting kit. You will get that donated by wonderful Lovejoy, and you will also get a $20 gift card to Target for your every winner in their age category. So that's a nice fun bonus too. You can go buy some more art supplies.
Go buy more paint. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can keep on painting. Okay, and always I want to show you a cute animal, right? We can't go Humane at Home without seeing an animal. So Miss Lauren here is showing you two cuties that we got in. This is Huey and Dewey. It's not Huey, there's Huey, Dewey, Louie. This is Huey and Dewey. And they are brothers, and they are a bonded pair of guinea pigs. So my friends, guinea pigs make wonderful pets, but they can also be a little skittish and nervous. Hello, friend. So you always want to make sure you're going real slow, you're talking quietly, being really gentle. Because when I went to get them out of their cage, they don't know me, so they were a little nervous and ran into their hide house. So you always want to be really tiny or really slow and gentle with them. You can see the brother here too, Miss Lauren, super cute. So they have their cilantro snack. There he is. He looks like he sat in his water bowl. He's a little dirty, making some noises. So these two are up for adoption, but they are a bonded pair, so you would need to get both of them. Guinea pigs love, love, love to have a companion. Oh my gosh, look at that cute face. So they love, they're social animals. They love to be with another one. So these two, you would adopt them together. So if you are looking for two cute little friends to add to your family, these make great pets. Guinea pigs can live to be about 5 to 7 years old. So you want to make sure you're ready for that commitment. And like I say, remember, always do your research, go online and learn about these cuties. He's like, I'm ready to go back in, Miss Stacy. So make sure you're ready and know about the animal before you welcome him to your home to make sure it's the right fit for you. But Huey and Dewey are ready for adoption, and we'll put their information in the comments as well. So they're going to eat their cilantro as a reward for coming out here and being on camera with us. All right, we have Miss Lovejoy ready to paint away. I'm really excited. So remember, you don't need paint. She's going to tell you what you can get out. But I'm going to be stepping out so that Miss Lovejoy can take off her mask, and you can make sure you can hear her during this whole tutorial and paint your own cool masterpieces. And I always want to remind, because in case she forgets at the end, please, if you paint along with us, make sure you post your picture in our comments. So yeah, she'll remind you at the end too. But we love seeing those because it's really fun to see all the different creativity in what you guys make for us. So happy Friday, and on Monday, we're going to be going to our Escondido campus and meeting a horse. I'm super excited about that one. So I'm really, really excited to show you an adoptable horse we have. So I hope you'll join us Monday. And thanks. Welcome, Miss Lovejoy.
Thank you. Thank you. How's everybody doing at home? So I'm honored to be here every time I get to come to the Humane Society. And this is going to be Paint with Lovejoy. This is my online school. And I do have this painting on there as well as on my YouTube channel. And like Stacy said earlier, I will be painting with acrylic paint today, but you are more than welcome to use crayons, colored pencils, markers, watercolors, pastels, anything. Just utilize what you have at home and get creative. That is the most important part. And I absolutely love that you guys are painting your pet portraits, doing stuff for Humane at home, and I look forward to seeing what everybody's creations is for that competition. And again, just reiterating the kit, you can pick out one project out of almost 50, and it keeps adding to, and you will be sent specific supplies to create that particular painting. So I think that kind of takes care of most of the details, and we're going to go ahead and get into painting. One more thing before we start painting. This is the image that I'll be referencing, and I'll be creating it kind of similar to that. But if you want a different colored background, or you want different colored eyes on your cat, or you even want to do brown instead of black, you have full permission to deviate from what I create and make it your own. I highly recommend that. And no matter what you paint today, do post a picture in the comments, because I will jump on there and look at those, or email them to the Humane Society, or email them to me. And you can just paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. So basically, I want you guys getting creative. Okay, so to get started, we do have a limited color palette today. Black, white, red, and I didn't put the yellow on there for the eyes yet, but I'll be using yellow. And it is kind of nice when we work with just limited colors. There's quite a bit that we can do with a small amount. So I'm actually on an 8x10 canvas, so I'm going to be using a smaller brush. But if you happen to be on a larger canvas, you can jump up and grab a bigger brush. So I'm getting a little bit of water on my brush. That just kind of helps. And we're going to start in the background, and I'm going to start with kind of a really light pink color, and then we'll move into painting our cat. So to make your color, that red is way too dark, we're going to pull some of that white aside, and a tiny, tiny amount of paint goes a long way to make our pink. So I barely grabbed some of that red, and it already gets into that shade of pink, so I'm going to throw more white in there. All right. And it's starting to diffuse a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit more red, and then I'll put the plate down, and we'll talk about brush strokes. There we go. All right. Okay, so a few brush strokes to try when you are working with acrylic paint or even watercolors is I want you to try the first one doing the full width of the brush. Then you can take that brush kind of sideways, a little bit smaller, and then the one that I'll be doing for this one and the one that's the most stress relieving, literally making X marks, slapping that brush back and forth. So anybody that has any frustration or anxiety right now, throw it into your painting. We don't generally solve problems, but you usually feel a little bit better about whatever was going on in your day after the painting process. And that really is the beauty of creativity. All right, so we're going to be filling in this whole space on the outside of our cat with our light pink color. Then we'll kind of jump in with the darker pinks, slap that color on there, and just kind of play with it. So it's really, really therapeutic. And if you are painting on a stretched canvas, I recommend that you carry that color over the tops, the sides, and even the bottom. That way it looks really nice hanging on your wall with that color wrapping around the edge. If you are holding your breath, take a big inhale. Even if you're not holding your breath, just take a big deep breath, just relax. If a lot of my first-time painters, you don't realize you're holding your breath until I usually make that joke in class. And even if I just get you to laugh. Whoops. So we'll put that, we're going to put it in front of here. That might happen again. That's all right. It's part of life. Mistakes happen, things fall, you just make the best of it. And I forgot what I was saying at that point. Oh, breathing. So a lot of times my first-time painters don't realize that they're holding their breath until I tell them to breathe. So even if you hear my voice in your head later on during the day, breathe, smile, relax. And for our background color, if you have to mix that color 2 or 3 times, do not stress about getting the exact same shade every time. If there is a little variety, that is to your benefit. And then also we're going to be going back in with darker colors. All right. And should you paint anything in a place that it shouldn't be, like maybe you got some of your pink on the inside of your cat like that, again, don't stress. Acrylic paint dries in about 15 minutes, and you just paint right on top of it. If you happen to get that with crayons or markers or colored pencils, you have to learn to work that into your design. So we call that a happy accident. I was a huge Bob Ross fan, by the way. Okay, so once you've got kind of your base color on there, and as I'm looking at it, it is a little bit darker here compared to the other side. That's okay. We're going to take our paint, grab a little bit more red, and mix it on there. So we're just making that original color a little bit darker. And then we're going to slap some color on there, kind of like confetti. And this was going to fall again, so I'm just going to put that down, put it back up in a minute. So this is the fun part. We're taking that darker pink, slap it on there, slap it on there. Again, it's just kind of like confetti, and this is called a wet on wet blending method. So now that you've got your paint on there, your darker color and your lighter, with light pressure with your brush, we're just doing those X marks and kind of slapping it on top of it. I'm not using a whole lot of pressure, and I'm doing maybe 1 or 2 little X marks or back and forth cross hatching around each one. If you feel like finger painting, this is an excellent time to finger paint. All right, and I'm going to take this off. I am in the room by myself at the moment, so you guys can hear me. I'm going to take this off, and I can breathe a little bit better. Okay. But definitely, for safety reasons, please wear your face coverings. Please wash your hands. Look out for other people. We are all in this together. All right. So again, I went in with a little bit more of that red. And if you want to introduce other colors, if you want to put blue or purple in here, I'm going to throw some white in here too. I do like just kind of throwing them in a bunch of random places. Now I'm going to grab the white and clean the brush out first, and then grab white and do the exact same thing, and then we'll do that blending method on top of it. And this is the really relaxing part of painting. All right. All right, so now you wipe that brush off, and then just those X marks back and forth. We're going for our confetti. If you want to finger paint, go right ahead. And again, remember, carry that color over the tops and the sides of your canvas. All right, cute little kitty. And I'm kind of glad that they showed the guinea pigs today, because I have seen how cute those kittens are, and I didn't want to go home with another cat. I have 2 at home already, don't need a third, but they are so cute right now. Okay, so pretty happy with my background. Yeah. So you do want to do everything that you want to your background before you move into painting your cat. And at home, I do recommend letting your background dry, about 15 minutes if you're using paint, and then move into painting your cat. All right, so clean that brush really good. I can throw this back up here now so you can see it. There we go. All right, and first we're going to start with black paint. And we're going to do our black fur first, and we're going to use black and dark gray. Then we're going to come in with white paint, and we're going to use light gray and white. So we've got 2 shades that we will be using. So I'm going to use the black by itself first. And I'm just looking to see the reference of where I have just the black paint. And as you're painting at home, all I want you to do is observe where you see me place this color and mimic that on your canvas to the best of your ability. Even if it's in a slightly different spot where I painted it, you're still training what we say is your eye-hand coordination. You're watching something on screen, interpreting it, and then you're trying to paint it yourself. And the more that you paint, the more that skill becomes stronger, and the more that you can observe certain shapes and articulate it a little bit easier. So painting is a, what did I say this morning? A compounding experience. The first time that you paint, it will make more sense the second time you paint. When you paint a second time, what you learn in that one will make even more sense the third time that you paint. So with everything, practice, practice, practice. So I am just basically making little dots or little dash marks, but this is a short-haired little cat. But little dots that overlap each other to create a larger space. And then we'll come in with some dark gray in a moment. And right there, I did have the background kind of overlap on the ear and just painted right on top of it with that black paint. So again, if you paint anything you don't like today, let it dry and paint right on top of it again. All right, oh, we got a little bit over here. And oh, a thing about the traceable, since we had this initial image on here at the beginning of the canvas, I do have a link and you can purchase that traceable and it'll look like the image that was in the kit. And you can purchase that, download it, and you transfer with carbon paper, and there is a video that explains that. But if you don't want to do that, pause the video, draw what you see, again, strengthening that eye-hand coordination, and then pick up this video on the painting portion or find it on my YouTube channel. So always different options. All right, let's get a little bit more around those eyes. And again, if you happen to go over the lines, that's okay. If you want to make your cat kind of pop art, maybe instead of black, you could use blue, and then instead of dark gray, maybe you use purple. But feel free to switch it up and make it creative, and then definitely post your pictures. Okay, so I think we're pretty good with that. So now we're going to move into our dark gray, and we'll fill in the ears and the rest of the little spots that are left. To make your dark gray, I'm actually going to leave the paint that's on my brush. Oops, let's make a new pile over here. Too much, not enough space over there. So leaving that black that's on your brush, you're going to pull a little bit more black to the corner, and then we'll grab a blob of white. Doesn't really matter. And you can see how quickly that blob of white becomes a gray. I do want to go a bit darker than that, so I'm going to grab a touch more black. Basically, you want to make sure that there is a difference between the black that you were using and the dark gray next. All right, and we're going to fill in the rest of that ear. And as I look at it on the screen, and sometimes this happens, once you apply something to the canvas, if you go, oh, I want it a little darker, a little bit lighter, I actually want it a little bit lighter than what I made. So I'm just going to add more white to my mixture to tone it down a little bit. So it's perfectly okay if you mix your color on your plate and then when you go to apply it, you're like, oh, not enough. Feel free to adjust. Most things in painting are merely suggestions. That's why I tell everybody you have full permission to deviate from the plan. And there is that famous Picasso quote that I like, I reference often. Learn the rules so you can break them like an artist. But please be safe if you're breaking the rules. I'm not giving anybody any ideas out there. All right, so let's see. So again, just the rest of the places where my cat has the black fur is where I'm adding this dark gray, bringing it right up next to those eyes. And if you happen to put black in a place where I'm putting dark gray, just put your dark gray right on top of that black. No big deal. All right. Such a cute little kitten. Another thing that I recommend in the painting process is take progress photos. So after you do the background, take a picture. After you do the black, take a picture. Same with the gray. Each step, take a photograph, because when you go back and look at your pictures on your phone, I want you to focus on how you look at each picture a little bit differently as this white canvas starts to disappear. And you're just looking at how you observe the world and the things around you. All right, looking good. Oh, little spot right here. And keep in mind that as I am painting for this, I'm painting sideways. Normally I am directly in front of my painting when I'm painting. Hopefully you are directly in front of your painting while you're painting. So that's why sometimes I have to kind of look and see it from the correct angle. Okay, so we're going to move into our light grays. And on here we kind of have super, super light grays in a few areas, because as an artist, we can't just leave the white of the canvas blank white. We have to create this illusion. And as an artist or a painter, you are technically a magician because you're creating the illusion of a 3D object on a flat 2D surface. So to create that illusion, that's why we have to use gray with white, and that's why we have to use dark gray with black to create that depth. So hopefully when you take some art classes for the kids out there, they will talk about that, and you will learn about your value scale. And, oh, I forgot to mention, on my Paint with Lovejoy website, I have a Paint Your Pet class. And I want you to jump on there, check out the Ultimate Kit, and you will send me a photo. I will prep your canvas, prep your supplies, and ship you a box similar to this, specific to your pet. And then I have an online course that will walk you through the steps, and it is geared towards first-time and beginner painters. So just more options to get creative. Okay, so to make our light gray, we're gonna start, just trying to look for a clean spot. We're gonna pull a little bit of that white aside. Tiny, tiny amount of black goes a long way to make a light gray. And I am using the rim of the plate. So we are going for a rather light gray, and then we'll be using white. I'm gonna stick with this brush, but if you are finding that the middle-sized brush is getting to be a little too much, feel free to move down to the pointy brush. Like I said, most things in art are merely suggestions, but feel free to adapt and adjust to what you need and what the tools you have on hand at home are. All right, so we're imagining that this gray is the shadow that's in the white fur. So we do have usually a bit of a shadow underneath the chin, around the eyes, and then we'll fill in the rest with white paint. And I'm gonna do this relatively quick because I want this gray to be wet, so that way when I put the white paint on there, super exciting to paint white on a white canvas, but I can blend the white and the gray together. And it'll be similar blending to what we did in the background. All right. And again at home, I want you to just observe the places and the slight shapes that each of these little gray spots make as I apply it, and just do the best of your ability to mimic what you see at home. I honestly can't wait to jump on tonight and see different pictures, and I think tomorrow morning, you guys respond really well to the San Diego Humane Society Facebook page, so it's always, I love it when I come here for classes. And I think I've been working with the Humane Society almost 7 years now. Very, very grateful. All right, so a few more spots for these little shadow spaces, and even right now it's starting to kind of take shape. Let's get a little one right here. And again, if you are painting the edges of your canvas, carry that color over the side. And then right there, I'm just gonna paint over that pink that I added on there by accident. Okay, so you do wanna clean your brush pretty good, and you can hit your brush against the bottom of that water cup to get all that paint out. And now we're actually gonna go in with white paint, and I'm in every place that there is blank canvas, except for the eyes and the nose, we're gonna put white paint, and then when it comes to where the gray is, we're gonna overlap that and blend it a little bit. All right, so just grabbing that white. Super exciting, painting white on a white canvas. Sorry, guys at home. So I am just using light pressure and just kind of this back and forth like little X marks. I do a daily demo on my YouTube channel at 11 o'clock every day. And the new blending method, let's go ahead and show, might not show up as much with the white paint, but we were doing a bit of this like stabbing method. And what it was doing was picking up some of that gray and picking up some of the white and diffusing it and blending it a little bit. So try both blending options to find what works for you. So again, either a bit of a stabbing method like this, very stress relieving, or kind of soft, nice bristle movements. And I'm gonna add that gray back in there because I lost it. And we are bringing this white right up next to that black paint. And if you are painting swiftly like I am, be very cautious and careful as you come up next to that black paint. All right, remember to breathe. I usually do that when I realize I'm holding my breath. And I've been painting for years, so just because I've been painting for years doesn't mean I always do what I say either. So that's why I say when I realize I'm holding my breath, that's usually when I recommend my classes to breathe again. So basically the struggle is real. All right, so I am going to go back to that light gray, and I still have some on my plate, so I'm just picking up that mixture, and we're just going to reapply some of it. So if you lost some of your gray, feel free to reapply it after you've put the white on there, and it will be a little bit easier to blend into the white. I just do things a little bit differently as a teacher, just so you guys can see specific things at home. Okay, so actually go right over that area, and I think we're gonna do the eyes and the nose, and then we'll come back into our white and do the little tips and then the hairs on the inside of the ears. So it's taken shape nicely. All right, so I am going to move down to more of the pointy brush, and we're going to go back to that light pink mixture for that nose, and then we have, because it's a kitten, we have a little hint of some color on their cheeks and on their chin. So my paint's already starting to dry, so I'm going to make a new batch of that light pink and going very, very close to that first light pink that I made. Let's see if you guys can see. But I want to go just a touch lighter, so I don't need that much red. Whoops, and that's actually more than I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a piece of that up, put it on a fresh spot, and add more white. There we go, that's a little closer. So I'm going for a pretty pastel-y pink color. And we're going to fill in that entire nose shape. All right, and then I'm going to blend a little bit of this right into that light gray and the white that we had. And I'm moving my brush kind of in the direction that the fur would go on the chin, and then also kind of radiating out from those little cheeks. And it's just a hint, you don't want a magenta color, you just want a light pink on here, just because that's nice and cute for those little kittens. All right, now we're gonna do just a little spot of darker pink on the nose and right where those little lips are coming together. So that light pink that I was using, we're going to grab a little bit more red, a little more than that. There we go. And again, if you need to, a thing that I forget to mention, if you've got a lot of paint on your brush like that and it's the bristles are starting to spread apart, I want you to wipe that brush off on your paper towel, and that brings those bristles back together. Then you pick up your paint with just the end of the brush, and then we apply. So kind of, if you're realizing that your brush strokes are getting bigger and wider and you don't know why, take a look at your brush and see if you need to clean that out really good. So right where that chin, those little lips meet, put a little bit of the darker pink on there, and then also kind of right down that center. Okay, and we will be doing some outlines on this at the end to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to clean the brush really good, and we're going to give this cat some eye color. And we're going to use, I'm just using yellow. You've got options. If you want to make a green-eyed cat, start with your yellow, add a tiny amount of green until you get to the shade of green that you want. If you want to make a blue-eyed cat, start with white, add a tiny amount of blue to get to that shade of that light blue. If you have more hazel eyes, you can take yellow paint, add a tiny amount of raw sienna, which is a light brown, to make a bit more of the hazel eyes. So your call what you want to do. I did not bring my raw sienna today, so we're just using bright yellow paint for our cat's eyes. Now, this is the pupil, this is the catch light, and then the eye color is going to be the perimeter. So we're going to fill this space in, and we'll reshape that pupil if needed. So as you're working in small spaces with the pointy brush, definitely remember to breathe. And you want to kind of treat the brush like a pencil. So you're using just the tip of the brush to apply your paint. And this does get easier. Light pressure creates smaller lines or smaller dots. More pressure is going to create a wider line or a wider dot. The more that you paint, the more your muscles get comfortable with this pressure, and the easier it gets. going to stand forward just a little bit so I can see. There we go. And if you happen to go over the black pupil, that's okay. We're going to reshape it towards the end of the painting session. Oh, such a bright white eyes for the world. So cute. Okay, so now we're going to move in. We've got a little whites of the eyes here. We're going to go back to one of our medium grays, and I am sticking with that same pointy brush. So going back to probably a little darker than the light gray that we were using. So pulling more white aside, adding, whoops, way too much black. There we go. And we're going for about a medium gray. Doesn't have to be perfect. And if you do find that your bristles are splaying apart, if you twirl the brush as you pull it out of the paint, we'll keep those bristles together and keep you kind of a nice point right there. All right, so just basically filling in where the whites of those eyes are. And this is where I hold my breath again too, so remember to breathe. And when it starts getting really quiet and I don't hear my voice talking, it's like, oh my gosh, dead air space. What are you doing? So feel free to laugh at me. I laugh at me all the time. Won't be the first or last time. It makes life fun, so you can't go wrong with that. All right, so with this medium gray, we're going to go into the ears, and we're going to do those little fluffs, and then we're going to start to do some little tufts of hair coming out, and that will take us into close to the conclusion of the painting. And I forgot to do a time check, so hopefully we're still on track. All right, so as we do these little hairs, again, you want to mind the pressure of your brush. So if you want to practice this on a scrap sheet of paper first, I highly recommend that, because we do want to kind of keep this light pressure. So if you need to, put your pinky out, rest it on the edge of the canvas, and you can use that as your pivot point, or rest your forearm against the edge of the table. So that way you have some stability there. So I usually do the pivot point. I'm just getting pink all over my hands. But we're doing this flick. So you're going to start here. All right, do it like this. There we go. And just a nice soft flick. After you do 2 or 3, grab more paint. And like I said, this gets easier and more comfortable with practice. So be kind to yourself as you are in your beginning stages. And if you're finding that when you go to apply your paint, you're kind of shaky, exhale as you touch the canvas, touch the brush to the canvas. So if you kind of come here and just go, makes it a little bit easier. Even if you do the loud breathing, go for it. All right. So we're going to take a few of these little tufts of hair and just overlap from our white fur. Same thing, keep your light pressure. Reload your brush with paint every 2 or 3 brush strokes. Breathe, exhale. Let's see. And if you are inclined to put a color somewhere where I did not, feel free to do that. Half of creativity is just being comfortable with what your instincts are telling you. And your instincts are generally guiding you in the correct direction. And when it comes to things creative, I highly recommend that you trust and listen to your instincts. Other stuff, you're on your own, but your instincts are still pushing you in a good direction. All right. So for the whiskers, I'd actually want your paint to be fully dry before you do whiskers. And you've got 2 options for whiskers, because I know that they're kind of challenging. If you found the ear hairs to be very difficult, let your paint fully dry, grab a silver or white Sharpie marker, then do your whiskers. If you're feeling comfortable with your brush, you can do the same thing with the brush, but you definitely want your paint completely dry so you're not picking up some of the pink or you're not picking up some of the other colors. And again, you're just going to be doing these long, quick little wispies. So I'll probably bypass that today unless we have enough time. Okay. I was looking to see if there's a clock around here. I don't see one, so hopefully we're good. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to the black. I'm going to reapply it on the pupil because that was actually a Sharpie marker from when I drew the Traceable on there. So we're going to reapply our black pupil. I'm going to do a little bit more eyeliner, and then I'm actually going to go back and outline all of these so you can see where this has kind of gotten messed up. And I will use a little bit thicker pressure for that outline so that way the black outline overlaps the cat and the background. So you're just getting really good practice. All right, so we're gonna first do eyeliner. And if you do your own eyeliner, this is just excellent practice and you're probably gonna do really well at it. I'm not that great at eyeliner. There we go. And then we're gonna basically fill in that pupil, and I'm gonna do a mistake on purpose for this. So as you are filling in your pupil, if maybe on accident, oops, you just lost that catch light, don't freak out. We'll let that black paint dry and we'll reapply it with white paint. So basically in the creative painting process, please don't freak out. It's not necessary. All right, so just reapplying it on the black pupil, and I'm gonna go ahead and just paint over that one just for demonstration purposes. All right, and while that sits there looking like a weird zombie cat, I'm gonna do my outlines, giving that a small amount of paint time to dry. So here we're basically redoing that traceable from the beginning and just going right over all the outlines. Highly recommend at home, let your paint fully dry before you do this step. And again, you're gonna be playing with the pressure, hum a little song, talk out loud to your dog or your cat if you find that you're shaky, but play with the practice and the pressure of your brush. And then I do remember when I was teaching and I got people to do, I did a pop art class, so we'd have to do these black outlines before we did anything. I didn't do it, I should have, but the faces people make when they're concentrating and painting, I saw so many people with their tongue out, making a weird face, scrunching up their nose, you know, super cute. So if you're at home painting with somebody, see if you have a weird painter face. Have them call you out. I'm sure I have one. All right, so basically again, just going over all the outlines. Breathe and relax. And I am overlapping that background just a little bit. It does kind of clean up the edge. If you're following along at home and you're using crayons or markers, you can easily do the black outline. Crayons and colored pencils, use a Sharpie marker for your outline. That will make it a little bit easier. All right. And if you want to put a little tag and a collar and name your kitty, go right ahead and do that. And definitely, I'm already excited about the pictures you guys are going to upload to the Facebook page, so please share your creations. All right, let's get this little guy in here. And now I'm going to clean my brush really good, and we're going to put that white catch light on there. And like I said earlier, I'm going to skip the whiskers on this just because my paint is wet, but you can definitely do that at home. And again, on my Paint with Lovejoy YouTube channel, Black and White Kitten is already on there, and it was one of my first videos I ever created and produced. All right, so for this catch light, and my black paint is still wet on the pupil, so I'm going to kind of glob it on there. You can use your Traceable as a reference, but you want to make sure that it's hanging out on the black because we need that high contrast. And I'm literally just kind of placing my brush on there and then pulling it right back. So I'm not moving too much, so there's not a whole lot of mixing. All right, and then if you want to sign your artwork, generally the bottom right-hand corner, you can put your signature, paintbrush, Sharpie marker. If you don't even want to tag it on the front, some people have been signing the edge, some people sign the back. Totally your call, or not at all. So, I think that kind of takes care of it for today's demo. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting Humane Society, for supporting yourselves. And don't forget about the contest. Upload your pictures. You get a kit choice and a $20 gift card from Target. And hopefully we'll keep doing this. Also, on my YouTube channel, every day at 11 a.m., I do a daily demo for a half hour, very similar to what we just did here. Paint with Lovejoy on YouTube. Check it out. You can check the replays and more. Also, Humane at Home on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Make sure you check us out. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to upload your pictures.